Hey everyone, I'm Sugandha and you're watching Ready with HR, and yes, welcome back to this recruiter workshop. This is day 3 and this is very interesting session which is about sourcing. Yes, sourcing strategies. Today we are going to discuss about the sourcing strategies. So let's have a quick recap. If you don't want to see recap, if you don't want to watch it, then what you can do is you can skip this video to 1 or 2 minutes and then you can have a look on the session related to sourcing. Okay, so let's have a quick recap. First, on day 1 we have discussed about introduction to recruitment. What is recruitment, why we are talking about recruitment, what is recruitment process, who are recruiters, what are the role of recruiters, importance of recruiters, and what are the current trends and challenges which are hindering recruitment process. So this was day 1, and on day 2 we have discussed about understanding job requirements. First of all, what is job, what is job requirement, how we can understand it, what are the key competencies and skills we must align with the company culture and values. In detail we have discussed this, right? So today we are going to discuss about the sourcing and sourcing strategies. In this sourcing strategies, we are going to discuss about the different sourcing techniques, what are the advantages and disadvantages of each technique. Okay, so yes, let's get started with it. Make sure to subscribe this channel if you're watching me for the very first time, and do hit that cute notification bell icon so that you could get my updates later on as well. And yes, so if you want to have a look on detailed sessions, like if you want to study all this in detail, then yes, you can watch 15 days HR workshop. You can watch HR course in English that you can find from the pinned comment. Please do check those sessions, and if you feel that yes, they are helpful for you, then you can check them out. Okay, otherwise you can skip. So let's get started with the different sourcing techniques, and before that, let's understand what is sourcing actually, why we are talking about this so much. We have understand the job requirement in on day 2. Okay, what is job requirement, how to align this with company values and culture, what all key competencies and roles should be there. Now we have to gather the data. Now we need data. Now how to gather data? Okay, this is actually sourcing, gathering data from various sources, from various ways. Actually, this is sourcing, and for this we use different sourcing techniques. And we all know that if we would be doing effective sourcing using various methods, then we can find and attract potential candidates. So each technique, whatever we are using, has its own strengths and is suitable for different context. Okay, so we will be discussing about the advantages and disadvantages as well. So now first and foremost is job boards. Now what is job boards? Yes, these are simple job portals only. This is like online platforms where employers post job openings and job seekers apply. So job seekers are applying on those platforms, so we can get the data from there. Okay, now examples could be, yes, we all know, like Naukri.com is there, Indeed is there, Monster, Glassdoor, LinkedIn Jobs. A lot of platforms are there, a lot of job boards are there nowadays. Now this job boards, or you can say job portal, is helpful when we want to reach a large pool of active job seekers, and that too quickly, because a lot of people are applying every minute. You can say people are applying on the job, so this is large pool of candidates. Okay, we can find a large volume of data from here. Next is social media. Now, social media, we all know, like using social networking sites to find and engage with potential candidates. They could be like, yes, again, Twitter, X, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. They are mainly effective for targeting both active and passive candidates, especially for the roles requiring tech-savvy individuals, or you can say creative professionals. Now, we have discussed about active and passive candidates. Let's discuss again in short. Active job seekers, or you can say active candidates, are those people who are looking for jobs actively. They are in need of job. And passive candidates are those candidates who are just exploring the jobs, who are just exploring the companies. They do not require jobs currently. Okay, so but yes, they are looking for jobs, they are looking for the companies, they are looking for the various articles, posts. They will get attracted towards the company only if they feel that yes, that company is best suited for them. So these active candidates are basically doing networking, and yes, they can be prospects, they can be active job seekers in future. Okay, so both the active candidates and passive candidates are important, because these passive candidates can be really good candidates for the future roles we have. Next is networking. Again, building and leveraging professional relationships to find potential candidates. Now, as passive candidates are networking, they are tying up with the companies, or they are having great interaction with the companies, interviews, HRs. Likewise, we are doing networking. Okay, so that yes, we can have a lot of candidates in our networking team, and whenever we need them, they can apply. Okay, so yes, building and leveraging professional relationships, they can definitely help us to find potential candidates in future. Now, example could be, yes, again, industry events are there, professional associations are there, alumni networks are there, career fairs are there. Okay, we must attend these events so that we can have networking from these events, and different type of candidates get attracted to different kind of events. Like some candidates attend only professional associations event, some attend only alumni networks, some attend only career fairs. Okay, now this networking is valuable for sourcing highly skilled or senior level candidates who may not be actively looking for a job but are open to opportunities. Okay, if I got some great opportunity, I can think to switch, but that should be great. That should be that should be from a great company, that should be from a great brand, then only I can think. Okay, next is referrals. Now, yes, we know referrals, but it happens that company often ignore this referral point. They think that asking for reference, or it will be of no use actually. Okay, but yes, encouraging current employees to refer qualified candidates from their professional networks can definitely help to get great employees. So yes, example could be like employee referral programs with incentives. You can provide incentives. You can create a proper policy, employee referral policy, and yes, informal recommendations. You can ask for informal recommendations as well. Referrals often results in high quality hires, as referred candidates are pre-vetted by current employees. Our employees know the culture, values, mission, vision of the company and the environment. So they will refer only those candidates who are ready to, get fit into the organization culture, and they are suitable for the organization, right? So this is advantageous also, because we don't need to filter on that factor, on that culture, vision factor, because my current employee is well aware about the organization culture. Okay, next let's move on to the advantages and disadvantages of each method. This is again important. We must understand the strengths and limitations of each sourcing method, which can help us in choosing the right mix for different hiring needs. Now, it's not like you have to choose the same job portal, employee referral, networking, every source for hiring every candidate. For some candidates, you can use referrals. For some candidates, you can use job boards. For some candidates, you can use networking or social media. Okay, so you can use a mix and match of this. So, first, job boards. Now, what are the advantages of job boards? Yes, again, this is a wide reach and a large audience. We have a wide reach and large audience. Okay, large number of people we can reach out from this job boards. Easy to use. They are really easy to use and manage applications. Even the employees, even the candidates are using these to update or to upgrade or to put their resume. So yes, these job boards, job portals are really easy to use, and yes, we can quickly generate a large number of applicants actually. Okay, next is, what are the disadvantages? Now, yes, it could be that we can attract a high volume of unqualified candidates. Now, how these unqualified candidates can be there? We have put filter. Then how come unqualified candidates can apply? Now, here's the catch. This is like we have written only graduation in that. Okay, so all graduate candidates will apply. But what we need a person for the marketing profile. So we are looking for what? We are looking for graduates who are from the marketing, or maybe from the commerce, right? So yes, we have done one mistake also, that we must write graduation from this marketing or something like this. But if we have written some general criteria, then yes, we can get unqualified candidates. Okay, And even if we have written like from the marketing, so it could be that a person is not qualified from the marketing, but that person has done some work in marketing, and that too not from my industry, but I'm looking for a candidate who is from my industry only, or I'm looking for a graduation in especially in marketing, but because his resume include that marketing word, then yes, I can get that candidate also, right? So this is actually unqualified candidate. Next is less effective for niche roles, or you can say highly specialized positions. It's not that feasible to hire top talent from this job boards or portals. Highly specialized positions are not tapped like this. Okay. So yes, potential for information overload. We can get a lot of CVs, bulk CVs. We can get lot of CVs, bulk CVs, but yes, they are of no use, or they are of limited use. Okay. Next is social media advantages. Now, yes, you can access to passive candidates who are not actively job hunting. Okay. Yes, all those candidates who are not actively looking for job, but yes, due to your publicity through social media, due to your marketing through social media, they are interested, so we can tap them. Ability to target specific demographics and professional groups. I can tap special demographics. I need a person from south, I can tap from there social media accounts. Next is professional groups. Yes, different professional groups I can tap. Next is enhances employer branding through active engagement. Okay, I'm posting something. A lot of people are commenting. What I'm doing, I'm replying those comments. Definitely, employer branding is improved. Okay, now disadvantages. Now, see, time consuming to maintain an active presence. Now, you have to maintain your active presence. Okay, how you can do it? You have to post something and you have to reply the comments. Like, for example, if you're posting something on LinkedIn, you have post certain article related to your industry, related to something which is happening around, and you have got to 50, 100 comments. You have to answer them. You need to be actively present over there. You have to appoint someone who can handle that social media account, and that too properly, right? So yes, this is time consuming. You have to allocate those social media handles to someone who can do it with discipline, with consistency. Okay, now next, with this flow only may require expertise in social media marketing. Now, what is this? Yes, you need expertise in social media marketing. Not everyone can grow through this. Not everyone can handle social media accounts properly. So, you need expertise. If you lack expertise, then yes, you won't be able to get that much benefit. Again, there will be no purpose, right? So, yes, again, you have to take someone's guidance or some social media expert who can help you to remain updated on this, and they have expertise. Next is a risk of unprofessional conduct if not managed properly. Now, see, I know my company, I know culture, vision, mission, everything properly. I know the importance of this networking, but only I knew this. Means I am responsible. Means one person who is handling everything is responsible, feels responsible that, okay, this is important and we need to deal social media accounts this way. I have trained people, I have guided them, but still they are individual. They are different individual. Whenever they are writing or replying the queries, it could be that they are not professional in their behavior. It could be that someone who is unprofessional writes something negative for the company, or for the individual person, for the HR, for recruiter, for anyone in the comment section. And the person who is not that professional, a person, I have appointed a person, or you can say I have allotted someone that social media accounts, so that that person can reply the queries or the messages, but that person is not that flexible, not that professional. He or she got aggressive, he's not able to understand how to respond, and suddenly he realized, oh, that person is someone is misbehaving with me on this social media platform, I must reply to him or her. Okay, so what will happen? This is unprofessional conduct. Then obviously I can't take benefit out of this, because things will go in negative way, which will be of no use, right? So yes, a risk of unprofessional conduct is there. Next is networking. Now, what are the advantages attached to networking? It helps in building long term professional relationships. Yes, I'm continuously posting videos, I'm continuously posting articles, and I'm really active. I'm replying to the queries, I'm doing everything. Now, this has created a lot of networking, and a lot of good connections are there who are connected with me. So, yes, this helps in building long term professional relationships. Next is high potential for finding quality candidates through trusted contacts. Yes, now I trust my contacts, they trust me because I'm consistently posting, I am consistently having interaction with the people. Then, yes, there are high chances I can get quality candidates. All those candidates who were not trusted, who were just passing time, gone with time, but the people who were trustworthy and even we are trustworthy towards them, then yes, we can build network. Next is effective for senior and specialized roles. Now, see, in this process of networking, it happens that freshers usually move on. They're not able to continue with this process. If they get jobs, then yes, it happens that they do not contact the company, they do not ask any queries, or they do not question, or they do not write responses to the articles or something like that. Freshers lose interest, but senior and specialized professional people are not like that. They love to be the part of network. They interact because they're not looking for jobs, actually they're looking for networking. Now, what are the disadvantages? Time intensive and requires ongoing effort. As I said, that networking is not built in a day. It's same like it's time intensive. You have to be communicative, you have to be interactive, and this will be an ongoing effort, right? So yes, it's time intensive. Next is it's limited to the recruiter's personal and professional network. Now, what is this? This is important. Why you need to understand this? Even if the recruiter, interviewer, or HR is interacting on the behalf of the company, but still they have their own individual name, and the way of interaction is also different. So it could be that instead of creating a network for the company, their own network is built, and whenever they move from the company, the same network moves to that company. Okay, because yes, they have created their own brand value as well. The recruiters, HRs, and interviewers, they are well known people because they are interacting on a continuous basis. Like, for example, if Mr. A is working in ABC company, then we can say that Mr. A is interacting on behalf of ABC. But yes, the name is Mr. A. Who is interacting? Mr. A. So if Mr. A moves to XYZ company, then yes, people will think that Mr. A has brand value, and that person is very communicative, very interactive, very genuine. And now let's interact with Mr. A, considering XYZ company as his company. Okay, so this could be whenever we are talking about the disadvantages, we should cover each and every aspect. Next is can be less scalable compared to other methods. Yes, it could be that it is less scalable as other methods are more scalable. Okay. Next is referrals. Now, what are referrals? Yes, we have discussed already. What are referrals and employee referrals? What are the advantages attached to it? High quality candidates as they come recommended by current employees. Yes, our employees are aware about the culture, vision, mission. So they will bring only those candidates which possess those skills, experience, and they're culturally fit as well. So yes, we can get to high quality candidates. There are high chances. Faster hiring process due to pre-screening by referrers. Obviously, employee himself is pre-screening. Pre-screening here means that they have already filtered out those candidates who are not culturally fit, or who are not suited for our organization, because they are aware which kind of employee could work in this organization. And yes, this could enhance employee engagement and satisfaction. Employee feel valued, respected. Oh, I've been asked. Whenever company is recruiting, company is asking me, if you have someone, if you know someone, then please recommend. Okay, so yes, employee feel valued, respected, and yes, that's why employee feels satisfied also, right? So these are the advantages. Let's see disadvantages. What can be the disadvantage? And yes, this is very obvious that it can lead to homogeneity and reduce diversity. See, employee is referring same kind of employees, like a person who is graduated in certain year, all his batchmates are having same experience, skills, even the caste, community, religion, gender is same. He is recommending all his friends or someone from his group, means a lot of people from his group who are similar. And yes, I have to recruit them because yes, they have skills, experience, knowledge. But what happens to diversity? No, there is no diversity or less diversity, right? Next is over reliance can limit the reach to broader candidate pools. We have studied that yes, from the networking or from the social media or from the job portals, we can tap a large volume of candidates, right? But when we are relying on employees, then yes, I have, as a recruiter or as an HR, I have a relaxed mindset. Oh, I have told employees that they will refer. We will be, giving proper incentives to them, and then yes, I have that comfort that I don't have to choose the candidates. I don't have to do any sourcing. Lot of data is there, but I'm not doing any sourcing. I'm not doing screening, right? So this is over reliance. Next is yes, potential for favoritism or bias in the hiring process. It could be very obvious that yes, favorite people will be hired or there will be biasness, right? So this is a great, or you can say this is a big disadvantage actually attached to this. We won't be able to promote diversity and inclusion here. So yes, this is all we have discussed about the sourcing strategies, and yes, what all advantages and disadvantages are attached to each sourcing technique, right? So in the next session, we are going to discuss about candidate screening and evaluation. This will going to be really important. You people ask me that how to screen the candidates, how to evaluate them, what all steps we must consider while screening the candidate, right? So in the candidate screening and evaluation, we would be discussing about resume screening best practices, what all best practices we can adopt to screen the resume. Next is conducting effective phone screenings, and yes, using assessment tools for candidate evaluation. Okay, so this is all for the day. I hope so this was helpful, and if it's helpful, please do let me know in the comments section. Till next video, all the very best. To stay happy, stay safe. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.